Welcome back, everyone. My name is Patrick. You're watching the Oilers Rundown. As you can see, back in the home studio, I don't quite have it the way I want it yet. I have to reset everything up, and it's probably going to have a brand new look when everything is said and done, but just thought I'd use this as a temporary solution for the time being. So, didn't get an update to you guys yesterday. Was on the road traveling home from Banff, but today thought I'd go over what we learned yesterday, and not much going on today other than a quote that Bob Stauffer released on Twitter. We'll talk about that one. As far as the lineup from yesterday, Tony Brouwer had Matthias Janmark not on the ice, and they had rotating lines of practice. So we talked about in the game rundown for the Oilers and Vegas Golden Knights game that we were worried about Troy Stecher. Matthias Janmark did leave for a short period of time in that game as well, but he did return, so I thought Janmark would be okay. But as it turned out, Troy Stecher was fine, and Matthias Janmark is having problems, so he may be ready to go for tomorrow night's game against the Vancouver Canucks. So we'll wait and see what happens there, but for now, the Oilers were rotating, so Derek Ryan was switching through with Nuge, McDavid, and Hyman. It looks like Nuge, McDavid, and Hyman will be reunited for tomorrow night's game. A little disappointing for me, guys. As you know, I mentioned that I wanted to keep the lines together for at least 2 games in a row, but once again, Chris Knobloch wants to change everything up, and I get it. The Oilers did lose 4-2 to the Vegas Golden Knights, but I really think this team needs some consistency. They're just changing lines left, right, and center, and I know the lines always get jumbled a bit during the game, depending on the game situation, but I don't know. That's just my thoughts. I'd like to see some consistency here throughout the lineup, but it looks like we will have somewhat of a new look lineup tomorrow against Vancouver anyway. Probably Nuge, McDavid, and Hyman back together. Podkolzin, Draisaitl, and Arvidsson, which has been the Oilers' best line, they stay together, although Corey Perry was switching through there as well. Derek Ryan and Corey Perry switching through, I think, was more just to get those guys ice time without Matthias Janmark on the ice, and I guess just trying some new looks, but I don't expect Derek Ryan or Perry to be in the Oilers' top 6. Skinner was with Henrique and Brown as expected, switching spots there with Nugent Hopkins, moving Edmund Henrique back to center. And I imagine if Matthias Janmark is good to go, he'll be with Derek Ryan and Corey Perry on the 4th line again. So not too different. Basically, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Jeff Skinner switching up there. The defense looked the same. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Stecher, Kulak, Emberson. And it looks like Travis Dermott will be on the outs once again tomorrow against Vancouver. But let's see what happens. I think Darnell Nurse and Troy Stecher have been the best combination for Darnell Nurse out of what the Oilers have currently, but we'll talk more about Bob Stauffer's quote in a sec. That may be a possible change to that scenario. And there was, of course, an emphasis in practice working on both the power play and penalty kill, both of which have been an Achilles heel for the Oilers so far this season. Their penalty kill was absolutely stellar in the playoffs last year. Not so far this year. The power play, even with Connor McDavid back, has not been clicking. They get the occasional goal, but that should be good for at least 1 or 2 goals almost every single game. I mean, maybe not every single game, but the majority of games at least, with how deadly that power play is. But hopefully they can come up with some kind of solution there. I don't know if it's switching players out on both units, but they got to find some way to get both of those special teams clicking here going forward, or this team is going nowhere fast. They have so much more potential than they're showing right now. I know a lot of people are bringing up losing the speed in the bottom 6 with guys like Ryan McLeod leaving town, but there should still be enough skill here for this team to step up and win more hockey games than they are currently. So let's hope they can get it going on the right foot against the Vancouver Canucks tomorrow. And as I was mentioning earlier, Bob Stauffer released a tweet this morning. It goes as follows: there has been a general assumption that the Edmonton Oilers will add a right shot shutdown D at some point. They still might, but an argument can be made that they would be better off getting another D who can play the right side, who can transition the puck. Who is he referring to? Well, take your pick. There's guys like Cam Fowler, Ivan Provorov out there. I haven't heard the Oilers connected to any particular guy at this point, so I'm not going to do too much of a profile on those guys until we hear some names actually connected to the Edmonton Oilers. Everything I've heard from insiders to this point is that the Oilers are unlikely to make a move until later in the season anyway, so there's no point jumping on anything too quickly here, but Bob Stauffer making his point there that the Oilers need a defenseman who can transition the puck. Yes, shutting down the offense on D against EU is, of course, very important, but the Oilers have really been missing guys that can transition the puck, get the offense going the other way. As I mentioned off the top, the offense has not been there for the Edmonton Oilers so far this year, 5-on-5 or on the power play, and this team is far too good for that to be the case. They have way too much firepower. They added extra firepower in the offseason, and Jeff Skinner, Victor Arvidsson, even Vasily Podkolzin has looked really close on a couple plays there. So this team definitely needs to find ways to generate more offense, and if they can ideally find a top 4 right shot D that can both shut down the opposition and provide offense, obviously that would be the perfect fit, but we'll see how things go here, guys. Right now, it looks like Nuge back on the top line with McDavid and Hyman for next game. Jeff Skinner down with Adam Henrique and Connor Brown. As for who starts, I'm going to guess Stuart Skinner against the Vancouver Canucks, but maybe we get a surprise appearance from Calvin Pickard. Haven't seen anything official on the lineup for tomorrow yet, but I'll update you guys tomorrow if we do get an official lineup before the Oilers and Canucks. But yeah, that's all I have for now, guys. Let me know your thoughts on everything in the comment section below. If this is your first visit to the channel and you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing for all the latest Oilers content. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan.